The cups that are on your table, they're a gift from me to whoever wants them, but there's a story behind them. Again, I've always been an advocate of diversity, and youth to me is what's going to change our world and make it better. So I'm going to put this down, and then I'll come back. If you look at it, it talks about diversity, and it talks about heights, and there's different ones. So in 2018, let me just make sure I got the date right, roughly that year, the Union of Pan-Asian Communities, or UPAC, which is a better name for it, decided they wanted to create an environment where youth could come in the afternoons, socialize, and learn a skill. So they started what was called the Neighborhood Cafe. Now I have one flyer, unfortunately, and I'll put it back at the table when I'm done. It is probably one of the most amazing things we have in City Heights that consistently helps our youth. The youth cook. They have two full-time chefs who teaches the children how to cook, how to order food, how to manage it. They have a print shop, and if you look at the photos and you see the different diversity that participates in this effort, it just warms your heart. Recently, they just purchased downtown. They opened up a place called Timmy's Place. That's what the flyer is, a little on your tables there. So the cups are the mugs are from that neighborhood cafe. I go there probably 3 times a week for lunch, picking up lunch to take off. There's a different youth coming up every time to serve you at the register and stuff. And it's just, if you really want to, go with a little patience, because they're kind of new to the, cash register and some other stuff, but it'll warm your heart. It'll make you feel really good that you went there. The money goes to a great cause. Okay, I'm going to have a couple people that, besides, are my dear friends. They support me, and they've had for a long time. And I am just delighted and thrilled that they're here, and that they're wanting to speak on my behalf. That's even more. Makes you more even humble, the fact that they want to do that. And you guys can arm wrestle, whichever one wants to go first. I would say the city attorney, since
Thank you, Terry. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for being here to support my dear friend, Terry Hoskins, who I have every confidence is going to be an exceptional council member. And there's a couple of reasons why. I'm going to be followed by the person I believe really has been the best council person we've had at the city of San Diego over the last couple of decades. And frankly, we have not had someone like her. And that's Marti. And for her to be here, I think speaks volumes, because although she may not live in District 9 any longer, her heart still belongs to the people of District 9. And there was not a day that that woman did not serve, regardless of how she felt. And like anybody who's going through ups and downs, she had a lot of downs at that time, and it did not slow her down, not one bit. And so I think for her to put her brand of approval on Terry speaks volumes. And I support him too. I have worked with him for many years. I'm the city's prosecutor, and I'm also the general counsel for the city of San Diego. And my attorneys are out in the communities working directly with people to try to problem solve. He was our go-to guy. As you know, he just retired, and we miss him tremendously. I met him because my deputy said, "You have to meet this person. He's awesome. We can work with him. We trust him." And that's how that relationship came about. And then he fought for me with the POA when I tried to get their endorsement with my first run back in 2016. And I never forgot him for doing that, because I'm sure he was standing all by himself in that room advocating for the dark horse in the race who surprised everybody. So Terry, I will always be grateful for that. I'm not gonna talk to you too long, but I do wanna just emphasize why a person like Terry is so important. This is a guy who has come from humble roots, and I always love that about a candidate. Somebody who has seen tough times and has still survived them, really comes to public service with their hearts open, and they're going to work. And that's exactly what he did. He told you that he was raised in Kentucky. His grandparents raised him after his parents divorced. He was the first in his family to graduate from high school. Not only did he graduate from college thereafter, but he also has a PhD, so he's now Dr. Terry Hoskins. Very cool. And then he went into the military, and that is not, I mean, we know that's not easy, and it's a thankless job, and that man did that 25 years, and also was with our police force for 15 years. I mean, right there, he's telling you, I want to serve, I want to serve, I want to serve. That's an old-fashioned notion, and Terry talked about this briefly in his remarks. You often see people run for office because they're looking for that next office. That is not the person you've got before you today. So this is a wealth of experience. This is somebody who cares about this community. He has demonstrated that throughout the years by being there for the community. So you've already had an opportunity to take him on a test drive. This guy's gonna work for you, and he's not looking for that next step. He's looking to serve you today, and we miss that. I work with a very divided council right now, and that starts at the top with the council president. You're either with him or you're against him. And if you are not nodding along with everything he says, you're on the outs. That is not how you govern. And I want somebody who has mature leadership in that position, because our city deserves that. We have a benefit of riches. We have a wonderful city to serve. We need the right talent. We need that proven leadership, that proven commitment to public service. And that's what we got. So I thank you for running, Terry. It's not easy. I know that. It is hard, and it has to be a labor of love. I know it is for you. So thank you to everybody for coming out on Saturday and hanging out with him. Please talk to your neighbors. These races are really knock-on-door races. They're tough, but he can't get to all those doors. He needs you to get on social media and talk to your friends and family and say, hey, I met this guy. He's the real deal. Support him. So thank you, Terry, for the opportunity to sing your praises. I'm very honored to join my friend and colleague today, and I wish you the best, and knock him dead at that primary, and even more at the general.
She's downright eloquent, isn't she?
Yeah.
No wonder she's killing it in court for the city of San Diego. Those are beautiful comments, thank you. And my experience with Terry has been on the street, you know, the curfew programs that we ran and getting kids home safely, the community meetings in the Mid-City Police Department upstairs, where the neighborhood people could talk about issues and we could figure out ways of resolving problems. And crime issues. We had some high-profile criminal activity and unfortunately tragedy with police officers being gunned down. And Terry was, in many ways, the glue that brought everybody together and kept the community together long enough to consider solutions to problems and then go out and deal with them. And so you have been tremendous in the community. And it's a loss. It's a loss not having you out there face to face, knocking on doors, walking the streets, you know, greeting the children, and keeping watch over all of the fine people in District 9. I'll tell you, I've missed it. Most of my stories when people ask about what I did on the city council in our district, and of course the district was redistricted, and so it changed over time. But it was just being with the people like Linda here, and all the folks Denise, who was on the patrol, right, the senior patrol, and all the others in the community. Maurice, thank you so much. He would help solve crimes for us, actually. Getting video of people burglarizing and bringing them to my office or the troubleshooter office at Channel 10 and helping to bust bad guys. And the people of D9 really are embedded in my heart. And it's been hard to watch what's happened with our city council. I don't mean to go negative on you, but I'm hurting inside knowing that services are falling by the wayside, that people are disgruntled with the leadership and the services they're getting from City Hall, and that the quality of life has diminished for so many people. And we've seen how the lack of service from the city, the lack of commitment to public safety has impacted our neighbors in District 9 so grievously just in the last couple of months, with the rains and the channels that were never cleaned out, and then pointing fingers at who's responsible for this. Well, the city council is responsible. And I know that when Terry Hoskins is Councilman Hoskins representing District 9, those issues are going to be addressed, because he believes in service that makes people safer in their homes and on the streets. And I know he will roll up his sleeves and make a difference, and that he will listen to the people in the community about what their aspirations are, what they would like to see done, the changes they would like to see, what bothers them when they wake up in the morning or when they go to sleep at night. And he will be there listening and acting. He's got such a network of resources, like gold coins that have been built up over the years, people he can call to get things done. And I know you will, because there's a genuine love of community when somebody stays as long as you have hit the bricks, have met people where they live, have held them in your arms when they're struggling, and who celebrates with them when we celebrate those victories. So I know you'll be there. And you talk about the leadership now, and I don't like going negative, but I'd like to tell you about my first encounter with Sean Elo. My daughter was a manager for a sober living facility near the University of San Diego. This is a few years back. And at the time, Sean was running for the community college district. And you might recall, he won the seat, but then he dumped it because a city council seat was coming up. So community college, I guess, wasn't the fit that he was looking for. And we had just, in previous councils, raised the pay for city council members, so it was kind of a good deal. But I got talking with the gal who ran this sober living facility, and it turns out she was Sean's immediate ex-wife, and she was struggling. She could barely afford to pay her rent there at the sober living facility where she worked, and earned a very small amount of pay. And Sean had used her as a co-signer on his student loans. Many thousands of dollars worth of student loans that he wasn't paying. And she was being dunned for them because her name was on the note. And she showed me the information. And I thought, well, this ain't right. to quote an old friend, it wasn't right. And so she shows me the documents, and I got on the phone and I called Sean. I found his number, I called him, and I said, so Sean, I understand that you're running for the community college district. That's wonderful, but there's a problem that I have with you. And that is that you need to pay your debts. Your ex-wife is here 1 foot off the street because she's being dunned, and all of the money she makes is going to collection agencies to pay your student bills. And I think you need to man up, and you need to pay your debts. And he listened. He said almost nothing, but a week or two later, she called me and said, I don't know what you said. Well, one thing I did say that I didn't mention is, I know you want a life in public service, But if this kind of information gets out, you couldn't get elected dog catcher. You're not paying your student debts, you're pushing them off on your wife who's next to homeless. Now, you gotta be a better person than this. If people are not going to appreciate you or support you if this is the person they see. So he paid his debts very quickly. She showed me the information that the debts had been paid within a couple of weeks. So he had the money. And that told me about his character. That essentially he had to be, and I hate to put it this way, but blackmailed by a stranger. I know, a known troubleshooter and problem solver. But he had to own up. He did the right thing, but he wouldn't have if he hadn't been pressured this way. If he hadn't been threatened with being outed for his bad behavior. And so that sealed in my head an impression of him. That he's self-serving, that he won't do anything unless he's forced to do it, and he won't change his game plan unless enough people stand up against him. And that's a tenuous kind of person. We don't want that kind of person representing us in city government or in any official capacity who has control over purse strings and who is expected to make ethical choices that impact our health, hearts, and pocketbooks in the community. That's my impression of Sean Elo. He has not demonstrated anything other than self-interest since he's been on the council. And I truly believe that D9 has suffered because of him being in this position. I truly believe we need leadership, true leadership, in that office. And Terry Hoskins is the person to do that job. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No, yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse. Just a little introduction. My mom has been dating Terry for about roughly 4 years, and just being all great things, I promise. And just kind of going off, kind of everyone's kind of going off of. I just really felt compelled to come up here, just talking about like characters of the other people who run things like that. I'm a very strong believer that how you treat others, and particularly your partner, who is my mom, who has been nothing but glowing for the past 4 years, that alone should show enough about Terry's as a person and also his commitment to those around us. And then just also being firsthand about like how much this means to Terry. I just want to allude to that from some of the background. I had no intention of coming up here. My mom was looking at me, biting her fingernails, all nervous. But I just really felt compelled on the kind of another perspective looking at this. This is something that Terry is very passionate about, and just for his character as a man, how he's been treating my mother for the past 4 years. I just wanted to make sure I exude that to everyone else, and I couldn't be more excited for Terry in this endeavor for him. So, thank you.